Good morning, Year 4s, and welcome to Monday morning's maths lesson. So today's written objective is to divide using partitioning. So our vocabulary that we will need today are multiples, known facts, equal, and partition. And our steps to success are: I can recall methods to help me divide, I can partition numbers effectively, I can use mental methods or known facts, I can add my numbers to find the answer. So we'll first do our starter. So give yourself 5 minutes, pause the video and have a go at those. Okay, and these are your answers. Okay, today's big question is, can you share this number between 4 people? So have a look at what that number represents. Think about what the sum is going to be. We are sharing it between 4 people and see if you can work out the answer. So pause the video and get a pen and paper and have a go. Okay, so this would have been a division sum. So the big clue there was because we had the word sharing. So we first had to figure out what number this actually was. So these are representing tens. So we had 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we had 84 as our number, and we had to share that between 4 people. So our division sum would have been 84 divided by 4. Now there's lots of different ways that we can work that out. And we always need to see if those ways are going to work first before we move on to this method today. So these are what you should check. So can we use multiplication knowledge to work that out? So do you know what 4 times something is that equals 84? If you know that, you wouldn't need to work this out any further. Can I count in multiples? So would it make sense to count in multiples of 4 all the way up to 84? You could possibly do it, but it's going to take you a long time to do that. Can I use any known facts? Okay, so if you can't do any of these 3 methods really quickly, then we're going to have to use the partitioning method that we're going to do today. So there's nothing wrong with using the other methods, but this method will take a bit quicker. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to partition 84. Okay, and I'm going to partition it into 80 and then the number 4. So this is very similar to what we did to multiplication before we did the column method. Okay, so we've now got 80 and 4. So now we can separate the 2 numbers and divide these numbers by 4, which will be a lot easier. So our first sum will then be 80 divided by 4 equals. And our second sum will be 4 divided by 4 equals. Okay, and just so you know where those numbers are coming from, the 80 is obviously coming from up there, and that's why we're dividing 80 by that number, 4. And this 4 is there, and we're dividing it by 4, which is the main part of the sum, because we have to share it between 4 people. Okay, so now, if I look at 80 divided by 4, I can use known facts to help me. So if I know that 80 or 8 divided by 4 equals 2, because 4 goes into 8 twice, then 80 divided by 4 is going to equal 20. And then 4 divided by 4, we don't need to use known facts for that. So we know that 4 goes into 4 once. So that is our answer, number 1. So before we can get our final answer, we need to add these back together. So in this case, you wouldn't need column method. Sometimes you might, but we can work out mentally that 20 plus 1 is 21. And then that goes into our final answer. So this might take a bit longer, but it definitely works better than counting in multiples or using multiplication knowledge for this kind of sum, the bigger numbers. Okay, so we're going to have a go now at the next one. So I'd like you to try using this method of partitioning with the next sum that I'm going to show you. So we've got 69 divided by 3. So think about how you would partition that and then divide those numbers by 3 using your known facts to help you if you need them. So pause the video now and have a go. Okay, perfect. So first step would be to partition. So we've got my two numbers, 60 and 9. Okay, then we need to divide each number by 3. Oh dear, sorry guys. Okay, so we've got 60 divided by, so I'm going to use that for divided by for now, 3 equals, so we know we can use known facts. So if we can go 6 divided by 3 equals 2, because 3 goes into 6 twice, then 60 divided by 3 will equal 20. And then we do 9. So we can do 9 divided by 3 equals 3, because 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3, 6, 9. Okay, and then before we can get our final answer, we need to add those two numbers up together. So we've got 20 and 3. We don't need to use column method for that. We can just go straight into mental methods, and the answer is 23. Okay, and I just used that sign for divided by, which you will obviously need to use this one. I just needed to use that for now. Okay, perfect. So let's have a go at this one. Do you think that you can partition this and still work out the answer? So pause the video and have a think about that. Okay, so if you had a go at that one, the first thing you would have done is divide it into 50 and 2. Okay, and then you would have tried to do 50 divided by 4, which is the next step. So 50 divided by 4 equals, and you might have worked out that actually that doesn't work, because if I count in multiples of 4, it's not going to get to 50. So this is the challenging part. We need to learn how to partition numbers in different ways. So if I go back to the beginning of 50, 2 divided by 4. So let's take away our 50 and our 2. We've got to think about a different way that we can divide or partition 52. So, which is going to have to be divided by 4. So think about what numbers you could split this up into that would be able to be divided by 4. So I know that if I count in 4s 10 times, I'm going to get 40. So it's always a good idea to put your multiples down the side of your page somewhere. So we could have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 26, 28, 32, 36, 40. So I know that if I count 10 times, I'm going to get 40. So I'm going to partition the one side of this into 40. So then I need to think, well, what am I going to add to 40 to get 52? Okay, and that is 12, because 40 plus 12 is 52. And I also know that 4 can be divided into 12. So now I've got two new numbers which I can divide by 4. But these two new numbers still equal 52. We've just partitioned it in a different way. So instead of doing 50 and 2, we've done 40 and 12. So now we've got 40 divided by 4, which we counted in multiples, which is 10. And then we've got 12 divided by 4, which we can use our multiplication knowledge for, which equals 3. Because we know that 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay, and then we add those two numbers up. So 10 add 3 is 13. So our final answer is 13. Okay, so this way is a little bit more tricky. It's the same method. You still partition in and then divide in both numbers and then adding them together. But it just takes a little bit more thinking about how you can partition that number to make it that 4 will be able to be divided by these two numbers. So I'm going to show you another sum like this, which will need to be divided in a different way, or partitioned in a different way. So a good idea, so I'll help you with this, is to write the multiples of 6 on the side. So if we go 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, and 72. So we write the multiples up until at least the 12 times table. And then this will help us to think about how we can partition number 96, because we know that number 6 is going to go into all of these numbers equally. So we're going to think about how we could partition that number so that we could divide it by 6. Okay, so pause the video and see what you can do. Okay, so first step is to partition. Okay, now if I look on the side, I can see that I've got all of these numbers that might help me to figure out what I'm going to partition into. So if I choose 60, and sometimes you might choose the wrong answer or the wrong number, that's fine, you just try again. So I'm going to try 60, and then I know that 60 plus 36 is going to equal 96. So these are my two numbers that equal 96. So now I'm going to have 60 divided by, let's just make another copy of these. Okay, so I'm going to have 60 divided by 6 equals, and I know that that is going to be 10 because I've counted 10 times to get to 60, or I could use my known fact of 6 divided by 6 is 1, so 60 divided by 6 will be 10. Okay, then the next number, so 36 divided by 6. And also from our multiplication knowledge or counting in multiples, we know that 6 times 6 is 36. Therefore, 36 divided by 6 will be 6. Okay, then before we can get our answer, we need to add these two numbers together. And we can definitely do that mentally. So 10 plus 6 is 16. Okay, so it's using the same method for all the numbers, but sometimes you just need to think about partitioning that number in a different way. So even though you might know of another way of how to use division, today we need to practice this partitioning method. And then tomorrow we will do another method of dividing. But today we are going to be using partitioning. So if you are going to do bronze, that means you've probably been to Miss Hand's maths group. So nobody that stayed in the classroom should be doing bronze because they will not be doing the partitioning method. You'll just be practicing division with smaller numbers. And then if you did stay in class, you could do silver or gold. And remember, obviously, if you went to Miss Hand and you'd like to try silver or gold, that's absolutely fine. The silver will be dividing bigger numbers with partitioning and some partitioning in a different way. And then the gold will be division of bigger numbers with partitioning in different ways and reasoning. So this is the bronze challenge. So you can see the first one has been done for you. So you've got 12 dots it's been divided into 3 groups of 4. Therefore, the sum is 3 divided by 4. And then this one, they've done it the other way around. 12 divided into 4 is 3 groups. And then here is the division sum. So what you need to do is you need to count how many black dots there are, see what they're dividing it into, and what the answer is going to be. So you'll write the sentence and the division sum. And then there's some more on the following page. Okay, and then your silver challenge is to complete these 6 division sums using the partitioning method. And remember, some of them will be needing to be partitioned in a different way. And then the gold challenge is to complete these division sums using partitioning in a different way. And then these 2 reasoning questions. Okay, and then here are your bronze answers, your silver answers, and your gold answers. Okay, so you need to go back into the video now, find the challenge that you would like to do, and remember, if you're getting stuck, go back to the examples that we were doing together and remember and try to recall what we were doing. So have fun, year 4s, and enjoy. And please don't forget to send us your work.